Hello all, it's Billy here with another Throwback Thursday, and today we're talking about the Crash Bandicoot series. In Season 3 of Throwback Thursday, we talked about the racing games of Crash Bandicoot, but I want to talk about the rest of the Crash Bandicoot series. The Crash Bandicoot series used to be very good in the PS1 era, but the recent ones aren't so good. If you look at the cover of Mind Over Mutant, who in the God's name is that? Like seriously, look at this. Why would they change Crash's looks when he looked the same for 15 years? You think he would look different because each game went to a different developer? But he changed for literally every single one. Like really, let's take a look at this list. Naughty Dog, 1996 to 1999. Eurocom, 2000 to 2001. Traveler's Tales, 2001 to 2004. They made my favorite Crash game, Worth of Cortex. Vicarious Visions, 2002 to 2004. Dims, 2006. Renegade Kid, 2009, Radical Entertainment, 2005 to 2010, High Impact Games, 2010, and Polar Bit, 2008 to 2010. I'm really mind blown why the game series kept going on to different developers. Crash was a really good thing, so I don't know why somebody didn't keep it like, ooh, it's mine. Like, it was a really good series and everyone liked it. I think Naughty Dog should have stayed with it before they moved on to Jak and Daxter, because Jak and Daxter wasn't that popular as the first Crash Bandicoot game. In 2013, Naughty Dog developed The Last of Us on PS3 and the remastered version on the PS4. I wonder if they would ever make a Crash game again. Anyways, let's get to this week's Throwback Thursday. I hope you enjoy it. Crash Bandicoot 1 was released on the PlayStation in September of 1996. It is a platform game developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. Crash Bandicoot 1 received good reviews but noted that the game lacked innovation as a platform game. The game eventually was one of the best-selling games for the PlayStation. In August 1994, Naughty Dog moved into the Universal Interactive Studios back lot and met with Mark Cerny. They discussed what video game console the first Crash game would be for. They decided that the 3DO, Jaguar, 32X, and Sega Saturn was not an option due to the console's sale and clunky development units. The team chose the PlayStation 1 because of the console's sexy nature and because the PlayStation was lacking a mascot character. Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back was released on the PlayStation in November of 1997. Naughty Dog continued development with the series. It was praised for its graphics, controls, and music, but criticized because of its trial and error gameplay, easy boss levels, lack of innovation, but people reference this game to be the best game on the PlayStation. The gameplay is very similar to the first Crash Bandicoot, but there are some differences. If you collect all the gems in the level, you get a bonus at the end. Also, if a player collects all the gems in the game, the secret ending is activated. Again, very similar to the first game. If I had this game, I would talk about the gameplay. Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped was released November 4th, 1998. It was developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. The cover of this game looks like a racing Crash game, and I thought I missed it in the last Throwback Thursday about Crash racing games, but it's a normal platform game, just like the previous two Crash games. The story also takes place right after Crash Bandicoot 2. Warped was praised by critics and reviewers. They noted high quality in pretty much every area of the game, including gameplay, graphics, and audio. A lot of people say that the first three were the best, and after Warped, it started going downhill. Crash Bash was released on the PlayStation in November of 2000. It is a party game developed by Eurocom and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. It is the first Crash Bandicoot game not to be developed by Naughty Dog because they went on to make Jak and Daxter. Crash Bash is a party game very similar to Mario Party. Crash Bash is actually really good because you can go straight to the minigames and you don't have to do other stuff like Mario Party does. You can have up to 4 players. Crash Bandicoot: The Worth of Cortex was released October 29th, 2001 and it was published by Traveler's Tales. The game was originally going to be developed by Mark Cerny and his idea was to make a free roaming game with puzzle elements, but his idea was scrapped. Mark Cerny also developed the previous Crash games. In 2000, when Universal approached Traveler's Tales to be the development team behind the game, they produced a 3D demo of Crash running through a volcanic level. Development of the game engine began in the mid-2000s. Worth of Cortex reviews were very mixed, and that is really surprising. Reviewers thought it made little innovation from the previous games, but I think it's really good and one of the best Crash games. The gameplay is just really fun with so many different levels. Crash Twinsanity was released August 30th, 2004. It was the 11th installment in the Crash Bandicoot series and the 5th game in the franchise. It was again being developed by Traveler's Tale. The game was released on the PS2 and original Xbox. Twinsanity differs from the previous Crash game, Worth of Cortex, because Twinsanity is an open world game instead of levels. The game's plot is now pushing the levels instead of collecting crystals. The gems in the game are now to unlock extras and concept art. Most of the gameplay is also the same in the previous games. I never played this game, but as I am watching the gameplay, it seems like a really weird game. Strange music and sounds, but I really like the open world. It adds a lot more to the game. Crash of the Titans was released October 4th, 2007. It was developed by Radical Entertainment. They also developed games from the NES and SNES era. Crash of the Titans development began after the completion of Crash Tag Team Racing. The graphics for the Wii version of the game is very focused, since it had the most power and Radical Entertainment wanted to use the Wii to its full potential. They considered putting in a feature of which you can connect the Wii to the DS during gameplay, but stopped due to time and some issues. The 360 got more time for the development to improve the game's graphics before setting a final release date. Crash of the Titans is a platform game, and the main objective is to rescue his sister Coco. Also, he needs to save his home from the gigantic robot. There was a 2-player mode, and if you plug a second controller in, Carbon Crash will appear. It's a white-furred version of the normal Crash. There is 2 modes for co-op, Leapfrog mode and Piggyback mode. This game only got average reviews. The main complaints were the camera movement, music, and the graphics. If people complain about the main things, then it must be a bad game, but I never played it, so I can't judge it. Crash Bandicoot Mine Over Mutant was released on October 7th, 2008, and it was developed by Radical Entertainment. It was the 15th installment and the final installment of the Crash Bandicoot series. It was released on the PS2, Wii, 360, DS, and PSP. It's so weird because not many Crash games were released on GameCube, but all of the Crash games were released on the PS2. As the previous game, this game got crapped on because of the camera movement. They had planned to fix the camera, but it got rejected due to the graphical reason and to avoid split screen for co-op mode. I'd rather have a good camera than co-op mode. As I said before, there was a DS version of this game, and the reviews were half as bad as the ones released on console before. Craig Harris of IGN said the DS version of the game was a boring drag and uninspired beat-em-up. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you before, but it is a beat-em-up game and the objective is to explore the mainland Wampa Island. As I was watching the gameplay of this game, it's very different compared to the previous Crash games, and I also noticed that when you collect the gems, it makes the same sound as in Simpsons Hit and Run. Radical Entertainment made both Hit and Run and Mine Over Mutant, so they reused the same sound. I found that really interesting actually. Well guys, that's it. Today I talked about the Crash Bandicoot series. I've been wanting to do this series for a long time and I finally got around to do it. To be honest, the series doesn't really attract me that much since, I just don't know why. But I had to do it anyways because I said I was going to. It is such an odd and unique series of how the games came to be. I hope you enjoyed this week's Throwback Thursday. Building out. Billy here.
And Charlie. And if you like that video as much as we think you did,
Comment, like, subscribe.
And if you want to watch more, go and click over here.
See you again soon.